Hello and welcome to Gen Friends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. And with me tonight, I've got Catherine Lake Hogan from Looking for Ancestors. I say that correctly. Looking for Ancestors, yes.
Yep.
And I want to say hi to you and thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
It's so good to have you here. And we've also got Shelly Murphy, our family tree girls in the house.
Hi from Virginia.
Hi, Shelly. Well, as you can see, we're back. Relative Race Season 5 is on. I've got my bands in no particular order because I have not chosen a favorite team, and I don't know. Sometimes I don't. I love them all. So we are excited that Season 5 has premiered, and we are going to talk about that tonight. We all watched the show and just cried from the very beginning.
Maybe we should tell our audience that, if you have not watched the first episode of Relative Race, you need to go watch it because
please
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Now watch it and then come back and listen to us and then tell us what you thought of it.
Don't watch us tonight. No, if you have not seen it, warning, do not watch this episode until you watch the show.
Exactly. So on this season, we've got Team Red, who are Maria and Liz, and they are sisters, but they are sisters through their siblings through adoption, which I think is really interesting. Their adoptive mother worked for Catholic Charities and was able to adopt them. So I love the fact that they're running the race. They said this is their gratitude tour. Oh, that got me.
It was. That's what they said. It was beautiful, though.
Yeah, and they just want to find out as much information on their birth families as they possibly can. And they said they just are grateful that they made the decision to give them this great life that they had. I was like, oh, okay, this is not going to be good already. And then Team Black are identical twin sisters from Florida. Now, one's got her hair dyed black, so that helps.
Right. So we can tell them apart.
We can tell them apart. Yeah, and the other one is blonde. So their father left them when they were 4.
Yes.
And so their purpose in running the race is to see what, if they can find anything about him, but especially his family, who are their grandparents and their cousins and all that family. So that's who they're looking for. And then we've got Team Blue, who's a married couple from Georgia, Demetrius and Shanta, and Demetrius is looking for his dad. He wants to know more about his father's side. And then we got Team Green, and they're so cute. Marcus and Keith, they are half brothers. They share the same mom. And their story is really sad because their mom died years ago when they were little, but like a day before Mother's Day. And they can remember they made the call.
On Mother's Day.
Was it? I thought it was right before Mother's Day. Maybe it was Mother's Day.
Remember he said he was making a card.
He had made cards and they weren't able to give them. And so I know it was either on Mother's Day or close. So that's a sad story. And actually Keith is coming along with Marcus because I think Keith knows more about his family, but he wants to help his brother find his dad and his family. And so they had found each other, which is great. And now they're going on this journey, and they are dancers. They are street people. They get out and boy, they're good. Marcus is really good. Break dancing, all sorts of stuff. They're street performers. So this is going to be a really emotional, good season, y'all. So we get the teams together.
We're busting at the seams.
I know. We're starting off. We're underneath the arch in St. Louis.
Yes.
And immediately as they're lined up, they're lined up in their team colors, and Dan says we have a problem. Anybody want to pick that up? What's the problem?
I'll take this one on. Dan says somebody or one of the teams don't have their driver's license. Stall. Panic. Everybody's looking around.
I'm looking at my husband going, no, this can't be because they wouldn't have let him on the show. Something's got to happen.
Well, but they automatically thought, even though you mentioned that the twins were from Orlando, the sisters that were adopted, they were from New York. And the couple, where was the couple from?
They are from
somewhere in Georgia, Atlanta.
Yes.
Was
yes.
it Atlanta? Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, everybody immediately thinks, oh my, then somebody can't drive because they don't have their driver's license. But they automatically think it's the New Yorkers.
They do. And you know what I thought
And
was
it
interesting?
wasn't.
They were all kind of going, oh, good. They won't be able to run
Oh,
the
yeah,
race.
that's one gone.
And
Yes.
one gone. That's the way they started
one
the show.
gone.
So how they ended the
how it
show, and we'll talk about that when we get towards the end. But yeah, they were kind of going, oh, good. We'll
Yeah.
have one
So,
less team.
Catherine, I'm going to let you take the next part. So who walks up and fesses up that they don't have a license?
So it was interesting. Everybody's reactions were very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. They're not going to kick a team off right at the beginning of the show.
Correct.
Especially, I mean, when
They vetted these teams. They know
talking
this.
about the teams, and you're looking at Team Red. In particular, I'm looking at Team Red and I'm looking at Team Green. Okay. And these two teams have had some rough life growing up. Bottom line. And for them to make it all the way through, the DNA testing and all of that to get onto the show, I thought they're not gonna break somebody's heart.
Nope.
And saying
no,
you're
but
on the
also
show and you've got to go because you can't drive.
Correct.
So
now, but why did you think New York and California?
I thought New York, because who wants to drive in New York, right? Because it's kind of like here in Canada, who wants to drive in like Vancouver and Toronto? No, thank you. And I thought possibly California because they're pretty young. And just because of their lifestyle, I thought, well, they may not need to have a vehicle. So now I did appreciate the reactions of the other teams, though, and saying, well, wait a minute, when Dan says, well, we've got a driver for them. And legitimately,
they're like, what? That ain't fair.
They had, reaction. Well, wait a minute, we're driving all day. And then we know at the end of that drive, there's usually some sort of a challenge or something that they have to do before they get the information to go and see the relative. And I'm like, yeah, that's a really good point. How are they going to do this? And I really did think that Dan and Relative Race handled this very, very well in giving some really strict guidelines.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they were clear.
And their driver were and were not allowed to do. And so
basically he can drive. He can't make any decisions.
Well, and that's but you know what? The other teams really still were not satisfied even with the rules.
They were still having trouble until Dan said
they got a driver.
And it's all about finding family. It's all about finding family.
It's all about finding family. And the guy walks up.
Drum roll.
Right. The guy walks up. But before they said, introduced him to Keith and his brother. And then he said, and what's it, Marcus? Marcus. And Marcus, hi, I'm your dad.
I'm the one person he wanted to find is
everybody changed their mind.
Oh, didn't they?
At that point, everybody is about finding family, and they got daddy right then and there. I mean, how awesome was that? Yeah. I mean, and the tears started coming.
And the tears started coming. And the reactions to the other teams, they were saying, this show is real. They mean business.
No.
Yes.
I mean, they've not even left the parking lot yet.
Exactly.
They don't even have the keys yet.
They don't have the keys, right?
They don't have the keys yet.
No,
and so that's the intro for season 5. Yeah. Was Daddy's right there. He's driving these two guys around. And the thing of it is, did y'all hear what Daddy said? Daddy said, if I would have known I had you, I would have took both of y'all. Y'all would have never went through any of this stuff. Right. I would have taken both of you.
Exactly.
He's got them now anyway. I don't know the
situation. He says, I've got a room for you. I've got a room for you.
He's got, well, he would take both of the boys.
And the other thing too, so the dad's name is Bishop, right? Yes. So when Bishop said he's known about Marcus for the last 3 Months.
3 months.
Can you imagine having
Relative
to
race.
wait that long?
I know.
Your
That's
child,
what he said.
like, that
just to
was-
see him.
Yeah.
Just to see him.
A child you never knew about. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to wait 3 months before you can meet them.
yeah,
But
but
I still
looking
felt-
back, it was probably so worth it though, when he looks back at that wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
And you know, like they said, this is going to be a great father-son journey. Like no
It
other,
is.
you know?
It is. And he will be meeting more of his dad's family, because just like where they showed up on their first relative was
It was
meeting
fabulous.
Bishop's brother and the family.
Yes.
But again, that passion hit me when he said, I would have taken both of
Oh,
you boys.
yes.
So now, regardless of what happens with the other brother, he's got a dad. He's got a dad to be in his life, because it doesn't look like he's going to separate those guys off.
No.
You know, he's got them both, and I think that's beautiful. So
they did a kind of a different thing to get them to their cars, because remember, they have to get the keys to their cars, because in the car is the backpack, and the backpack contains those fabulous paper maps and their flip phone that has no internet or GPS.
Yeah.
And every time I say, people, learn how to do a selfie with the flip phone if you know you're going to be on Relative Race. Do they listen to me? No. I say this every season. If you're going to be on it, learn to do it. I can't do a selfie with my Android. I don't know how on earth I would ever be able to do it with a flip phone. I'm the world's worst selfie taker. So practice.
And for some reason they had it turned around, because there's no flip mechanism like the smartphones. You know, you just push the button and it flips the camera. It only is a one-way camera.
One-way, exactly. The phone, the old-fashioned phones. Yeah.
Yes.
You got to do it. You got to learn.
Just how much technology has changed. That quick.
Yeah.
So they get to the house.
Well, wait, let's go through what they had to do to get to the cars first. Yes. They had a series of challenges that they had to and to win the challenges in order to get the keys to the car. So the first one was at this little roped off area they had in the grass. He called it an arena. And so one member of each team was inside with some barrels, and the ones on the outside had little paintballs, just little balloons filled with paint. And they had to hit somebody on another team. And when they did, those people were out. And so that one went really fast, but Team Black.
Don't forget they were blindfolded.
That's true.
Blindfolded. That's right.
So it wasn't as simple as just hitting them. They were blindfolded.
To do it they did it pretty quickly, but Team Black, she put her barrel over her head, so they couldn't hit her.
And then their sibling or husband or whatever, or spouse, was guiding them. They're telling them where to go.
Where to throw it.
Yeah.
So quickly, the teams are getting out, and then Team Black gets disqualified because they're throwing more than one. Dan Con. You can only throw it one at a time, and they were a group of them, and they were disqualified. Right. And so Team Green wins, and somebody, I don't even know who yelled it from Team Black, says, "Y'all won because I cheated."
That's what she said. Kristen or whichever one.
So one of them yelled that. I don't know which one did. So Team Green gets to run and get in the car.
But didn't you think they're a little more competitive than the previous years somewhat? They seem to be competitive. Really good.
The blue team met in the Marine, so they're just they're ready.
Wife. Yeah.
Right. They are ready for this. And then the second one was, what was the second one?
After the barrel.
The big volleyball.
The volleyball, that's right.
Yes.
They had the big, huge volleyball, and they had to just play until one team beat the other.
And that was red team and black. No, red. Was it black?
Red, black, and blue.
Red, black, and blue.
Okay.
Red, black, and blue. And red.
Okay.
Right. Blue won that one.
Yeah.
And then they went on to the dunking booths, which was pretty funny.
Which was the baseball throw.
Yeah. Team Black's like, well, we've never played baseball and we've never played softball, so we're not going to do very well in this. And of course, Team Red's like, yeah, we're fit. We can do this.
We're good. We're ready.
Right. But it came down to sudden death because they were both even, and so. But then Team Red won, so they got to go. They gave them time to change their clothes. They handed them their clothes, and they ran because they were wet, and then they ran to their car. But because Team Black came in last, they had to run to the other end of the field to get their clothes and change
out of the box. Yeah.
So they are out of the parking lot last. And so another thing that was really interesting about this beginning day one was that some of them had so far to go, they actually gave them 2 days to get there.
Gosh, down
they
to
had
Florida
because
was
they
17 hours.
Yeah, and so they gave them they figured out the driving times, and they gave them 2 days to get there, because that was a long way for Florida to get down there. But I thought it was interesting. Almost all the teams went back to their home states to start this race.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because Davie, Florida, Cartersville, Georgia.
And then one went to Tennessee, though, and they weren't
Nashville. The girls went to Nashville.
Right. So anyway, so they gave them that time, which this is the first time they've ever had to do that. But I guess, they have to go where the relatives are.
Started off for the mapping.
They have to. They have to go where the relatives are. So that was a good way to do that, is to give them 2 days. And of course, they start going, and the trash texting starts, and I loved it.
I loved it when the brothers, Marcus and his brother, when they text and said about you going the wrong way. The camera goes back on the twins, and they're like, "What? What?" And I thought, okay, is the light bulb going to come up on the screen? Because they're thinking, no.
It was so funny. They had to think about it for a minute, didn't they? They had to.
They did.
Yes. Did it? And they really struggled. Black team had a hard time getting to where they were supposed to be, and they entered the town at the wrong, and it kind of took them extra long time. But
they came in the wrong side of town.
And it took them a little extra time. But so as far as meeting their relatives, Team Green had a really fun relative that they met. They met a whole bunch of his dad's family, Marcus's family. It was actually his uncle, his dad's brother. And so he pulled his dad out of the car. He says, "I got somebody here."
And they didn't know.
And they didn't know he was going to be there. And there must have been 20 people or more standing out on that lawn.
Waiting.
Cousins and all kind of people were waiting for him. So that was
awesome.
And Keith looked a little kind of, he was happy for him, but I thought, I hope they find
He was happy for him, but it was also overwhelming.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
To know that it went right to Marcus again.
The whole time. The whole time.
You could see it on his face, but he was happy.
He was happy.
In the dance challenge.
Yeah, that was
really
cute.
good with the uncle and Marcus doing it. Because I don't think the other brother does, and I can't think of his name right now. Keith.
I'm not so sure if he does the
dances, but I know Marcus is the street dancer.
Mm-hmm. So that was really fun for them. And then the blue team, I'm gonna do red last because this is so cool. We'll do red last. The blue team, they're really in there for finding Demetrius's dad, but they were able to find a relative for his wife. They found somebody who was related. Was it a cousin?
Second cousin.
That's right. Second cousin. And she said it's like her dad. She said her dad died 5 years ago, and it was finding another piece of her dad. And so I thought that was so sweet. But she was able to find something. I'm glad that they do that they try at least. I mean, you've got that one person who really wants to find something, and then somebody who comes along for the race. In a lot of cases, a lot of times it's for both of them, but I thought that was really nice. They were able to find somebody for her. And then Black,
and then for her to get her family history on that side of the family was amazing.
Yes, they went to that plantation. And they were able
slave
to
quarters
go to the
that was
slave
still
quarter.
there. Yeah. And they had a picture. They had a picture of a third great grandmother.
They said that was the matriarch that
of the family
tied them together, and they thought there was possibility that she had lived in that slave cabin at one time. And then Shanta said, you read about it and you hear about it, but to see it, to be there, she says, my mind is blown. And so that was an incredible experience, I think for her. Black team met a first cousin And
Mhm.
he didn't
Yeah.
know much about the dad, and
No.
that's what they wanted. But he did tell him stories about the grandfather. So at least they're starting to get a little bit of information about that side of the family. And I thought it was really funny because they said, and he looks like us, he had his hair braided.
The eyes and everything. And he had pigtails.
So I thought that was funny.
Pigtails.
Yeah.
That could have been a brother, but it was a cousin, a first cousin.
It really could have been a brother. They did look an awful lot alike.
Their eyes were exactly the same. Those blue eyes. Yeah.
They were.
They knew they were related.
So we get to Red. Catherine, I'm going to let you start this one off. We get to Red team. We get in there.
And they get out of the car, and the young man comes out of the house, and they're like, they don't know whose cousin. Like, they don't even know who are you? Who are you? Mm-hmm. And he looks at Maria, and he says, "I'm your brother." Oh, and and she's just like, whoa, like was not expecting to be the first one. And big hugs, and I forget the other teammate's name and the sister's name.
It's Liz. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's hugging her too, and they get into the house, and Maria finds out that her brother, and I can't say his name properly. I know it's
Diallo or Adelo.
Say it again.
Her brother.
Yeah.
Her brother.
And he reaches down. Go ahead. Her brother. Her younger brother.
They find out, that she's the oldest, oldest out of all of the siblings, and that he is also a twin. And she said, well, how many siblings do you have? And she said, there's 10. There's 10 of them. There's 10. She's like, what?
And so she even asked. Yeah, she even asked, same mother, same father. And he says, yes. And so my thought was, why? What happened? They haven't. So I'm wondering if they'll find that along the way, because that was my first thought.
She's probably the firstborn of the mothers, or it could have been another relationship before she married the dad.
That too, but that would have been, and she probably did ask that, and maybe it was just too personal to put on, or it'll be coming.
You can see, like, as excited as she is, there's those emotions, like. Right. Okay, so mom, you got it together with another man. You stuck with him. You had 10 kids. You've got to be wondering.
And all 10 are by the same man because she asked.
Right. Yeah. So she's got to wonder. So hopefully that. Yeah. She needs to know why.
Tell the rest of it.
Great, but wait, there's more.
Catherine. Tell the rest of it. He reaches down, and what's he pick up?
He reaches down beside him. He pulls up a great big frame, and he's got this great big frame of photos, and they're all photos of children. And he's like, these are all the brothers and sisters. These are photos from about 10 years ago. And the really wild, bizarre, freaky coincidence is that all of the children in the photo are all wearing red shirts.
Yes.
For Team Red. And he says the brother is saying these photos are from 10 years ago. Like, this is not staged.
Correct.
This is not,
And they're little kids.
And Maria's like, well, how come they're all in red shirts? And he's, I don't know. I don't know how we got them all in red shirts. So I'm thinking, I don't know. That it was just
I think that's mama.
Freaky.
He said it's almost like someone knew that we would need to be cheering for Team Red.
Yeah.
Wow. And then notice that she then took her photo of herself wearing the red shirt, and she pinned it on.
And they hooked it up on the frame.
Yeah.
It was so cute. But that's emotional. Here you are. You have a sibling, adopted sibling that, raised from childhood, and you're going on this, both of you are going to find your family, and you come up and there's 10 siblings.
10 siblings.
She's done. She's done. She's got 10.
Liz is probably going, please let me be next. I want to find something else next.
10. Oh,
wow.
And they all favored. I mean, she fit right in with all of them. So she's the big sister.
Amazing.
She's the big sister. It was just gorgeous,
So, all of the teams find something amazing, day one. All of them. There's not one that found something was like, no, okay. And we're like, okay, well, hopefully they'll find something better for them, on day 2 or 3. They all found a connection that was emotional to them. And I just, what a great start. And then, of course, we have to go to the results. And we have the Skype call, which, again, is just my favorite part, is that Skype call. You see a change in that Skype call from that, the 2 days, because they've had 2 days at this point because they gave them the extra time. From that, ooh, goody, maybe they'll kick a team off, to good luck tomorrow, introducing their families to each other, blowing each other kisses as they left. Good luck. It's okay. We'll do better tomorrow. Team that comes in last place. The complete change that we see every season from that beginning to when they start meeting their relatives and seeing
connect there.
They connect
after family.
They connect and they bond so quickly. And I love that about this show because yes, they want to win, but their attitudes change.
And it is 50,000 at the end.
Yeah, and Team Blue wants to go on a honeymoon. Because
they never had a chance.
Yeah. So it's just remarkable what the power of family history can do to soften hearts and to heal people. It's remarkable what it can do.
I love the show. And
I do too.
Every Sunday night, that's it. But when you rewatch it, there's no commercials.
Oh, when you get it on there.
Don't watch it live and you watch it recorded, there's no commercials.
But I want to tell people, if you do watch it live and you use Twitter, please join us. #Relative Race. It is so much fun to live tweet with the people that are watching, to see the reactions. A lot of times the team members are live tweeting as well. You get to know them a little bit better.
Correct.
They do not see the show ahead of time. They're watching it live. I mean, of course, they know what they did, and they know
they know who won.
Well, and they know from the conference calls, what's kind of happening, but they don't get a lot of that emotion from the other teams until they watch. Right. And so for them, it's emotional as well. So I would encourage anybody who does Twitter to come on if you can and live tweet with us. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of emotions and it's just a lot of fun. So we get to the results. Of course, Dan's always got to do this. But I love his reactions to their stories too when they're sharing, because it's
the 10 kids excited him.
It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not something scripted and staged. He really feels these emotions. And so the winning team this time is anybody? Red team? That's right. Red team wins.
I forgot who it was at first. Red team, right?
Red team comes in first, and of course they're always given that opportunity to choose between a game benefit, which was a penalty to another team
5
the next
minutes.
day if they chose, or the game 10 benefit. And of course they chose the game 10 benefit because everybody says, I'm going to be there day 10. But of course, we always look at it and go, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah,
it was just a little
just getting started.
What does that mean?
Right.
I'm telling you, I tried live tweeting on Sunday night to say, anybody want to give us some hints about what that means? Now they said you have to stay tuned.
And it was in a locked box too, so you don't even know. But we know what happened last year.
What are they going to do?
People forget about last year. Remember, they ignored the one clue or whatever it was at the benefit or something like that, and they lost.
Exactly. So they've got to be real careful, really careful. And I would tell the teams to never choose those next day benefits unless you're so far in a hole.
No, hold on.
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah, because it's not worth giving a penalty to another team unless you are so far in the hole that you're not going to go another day without a strike.
But they can't if you penalize somebody else. And remember, the father-son did that previously one time.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee that you're going to benefit from that 5 minutes.
That's right. So but you are going to benefit from the day 10. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. There's always Unless it's
So
fuzzy dice like they did that one season. Do you remember they gave them the fuzzy dice and it didn't mean
Yes.
anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I think I hope they won't do that again because we all complained.
Who knows? We had new challenges.
We complained.
This is season 5,
I know.
and they've already came up with all new challenges.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any of those that they did to get that car. I mean,
No.
who's the creative group back there?
And
that's
you know
coming
they
up with this
test them. They test them. They get a test group and they test them to see how they're going to work.
Right.
But let's get back to
number 2, green
number
team.
2 was
Green team.
green team.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3 was blue team. So black team got the very first strike. And I really do think it was just that combination of they came in last of the challenges and then they
I think it was the driving. They
got lost too. Had they not come in on the wrong side of town, they would have made it back
realizing,
having to drive all the way. Yeah.
Right.
Not a whole lot of time.
And that's that whole thing about paper maps and, not being able to ask Alexa, or your Google how to get you there. We're so used to that, that's another thing. If you're going to be on the show, start learning to use paper.
Because these younger kids don't
learn
know how to read
a map.
Yeah.
Did you hear Marcus talking about Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Yeah. Bless his heart. But again, if you come from those huge metropolitan cities, you're not going to know this stuff. So it's not that he's, dumb or anything like that. You're just not going to know that.
He's very street smart, just not that kind of street smart, because he kept saying is Arkansas and Arkansas the same place. He just that connection. And you know what? I think too that when you're on these kind of shows, the stress and the trying to hurry your brain goes. I mean, my brain goes all the time, just doing this. So I think that sometimes it just, you say things and they probably watch it back and go, I can't even believe.
But again, think of their age in the city that they came from. Plus, remember, he was homeless. He had been abused and so all
10
kinds of
foster
stuff.
homes?
Yes.
One of them said they were in 10 foster homes.
that
was between him or Keith. That's too much. Thank goodness. How did they even find out about this show?
That's a really good
if we
question.
get them on, how did they find out about genealogy, the show? That's a question we should ask. How did you guys find out? Any of the teams? How did you find it? We need to ask that to
and we
Joe.
will. And absolutely, we need to put a call out too and say, look, we love to have the teams on, and so
I would love to do this, but I can't do the challenges physically. I'm getting too old for that, but I'm not running,
Nope.
So, but wouldn't you love to do this?
I sure would. would.
Yeah.
I would love to be one of those that they called and said, we have found one of your relatives. Are you willing to, have them? Now I know that Relative Race puts a call out for people to apply for the show, and that ends up on social media. And so I think a lot of it is word of mouth, and that's how people. It seems like that Joe told us last year that's how they found out. It was word of mouth.
We need to get Joe on here.
I've invited him to come back and be part of Gen Friends anytime he wants.
Okay.
And so we're hoping that he will have time. He's a busy guy. So we're hoping that any of the former teams, if they would like to come on and talk and discuss, these seasons as they go on, and any of the teams that are on there, I know they can't come on yet because they can't tell us anything. So
but
information, and they would be saying, I can't tell you.
Right.
And so I know that season 6 is getting ready to start being filmed. So I know that there's going to be a season 6.
Wow.
Do you think season 4 is watching season 5?
I think they are. I do.
Good.
I think they're watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to hear their input for that.
I've seen some social media posts where they're saying, good luck teams. This is going to be the
great.
A journey of a lifetime. So I think they support each other. I mean, they have to be kind of a supportive little group because there's not many people that have gone through this and understand what you've gone through. So they do need to support one another. But wow, what a start! What a start to season 5.
With a
emotion
bang.
all around. Kleenex,
Yeah.
tissues, whatever you
Tissues.
call them,
Yeah.
from wherever
I
you're
don't
from.
remember doing tissues on the first episode of any of the previous
none of them.
seasons.
No.
I mean, they hit us. They've got a lot to live up to now for the next 9 days.
Season 3, we had a lot of tissues.
Yeah. But I'm just
right
saying.
off at the front and
Right.
a bang, no.
So they've set the bar. I mean, they've set the bar with day 1. So
Yeah, they did.
we're going to expect this all the way to day 10 now. So,
Yeah,
and I have a feeling they're not going to
they'll
disappoint us.
deliver.
They will
There's nothing
absolutely
like
deliver.
finding family.
Nothing like it. Nothing
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, thank you so much. It's been so much fun. I love this show. We all love this show, and it's so much fun. We could talk for hours and hours. And,
We could.
and nobody wants to listen to that. So
That's okay. I enjoy
they'd be going,
talking.
quit talking, because now we want to add our comments, and you all quit talking. So thank you so much for being here. And like I said, if you're a Relative Race fan, please leave us some comments about your thoughts for day 1 of season 5. We'd love to hear from you and see how you felt about it. And we hope you'll join us next time on Gen Friends. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.